John Boyd, pastor. Reverend John Boyd, 1679 August 30, 1708, was a Presbyterian minister in the United States. He was ordained the first pastor of Old Scots Church by the First Presbytery, which met in America on December 29, 1706. He was the first Presbyterian minister ordained in America. The event was described by the Reverend Hugh McCauley as the small beginning of the great stream of organized American Presbyterianism. He was also the first pastor of Old Scots Church. He was considered important to the Presbyterian history, and the Synod of the Northeast placed a 25-foot monument in his honor at the Old Scots Burying Ground in 1900. His monument was restored by the Synod of the Northeast in 2002, and the top spiral on the monument was replaced at that time. Early years. Reverend Boyd was born in Kilmarnock, Scotland, which is the ancient home of the Boyds. He likely grew up at this location with his brother Robert till he went to the university. He was educated in the 4th class of the University of Glasgow in Scotland. According to early Presbyterian histories, it is likely that the Reverend Boyd left Scotland with the leading Presbyterian ministers Francis McKemmy and John Hampton in the fall of 1705. Death. Reverend Boyd died August 30, 1708, leaving no descendants at his death and no will. Peter Watson became the executor of his will by the governor decree. Governor Richard Ingoldsby granted letters of administration upon the estate of Reverend John Boyd, sick of Monmouth County, to Peter Watson. Records of the Presbytery, in a reference to his passing, state the Reverend John Boyd being dead, what relates to him ceases. Original tombstone. The tombstone had actually been a table stone 5 feet in length, originally laid horizontally on a bed of stone and lime. The inscription on his gravestone, translated from the original Latin, reads, "The ashes of the very pious Reverend John Boyd, pastor of this church of Calvin, are here buried, whose labor, although expended on a sterile soil, was not lost. They who knew him well also proved his worth, who was at that time distinguished for his virtues. Reader, follow perseveringly his footsteps, and I hope thou wilt be happy. He died on historic tombstone removed, Freehold, N.J., December 29. A tombstone which marked the grave of the first pastor of Old Scots, C. Hirch, ordained 194 years ago today, has been removed from Old Scots Cemetery, near this city, and taken to Philadelphia, where it has been placed in the rooms of the Presbyterian Historical Society. It is of rough-hewn brown stone, about 3 feet high, 2 feet broad, and 2 inches thick. It marked the grave of Reverend John Boyd. Last spring a monument was unveiled over his grave, so the old tombstone became useless.